Marvel's going back to their roots. We got Falcon and the Winter Soldier here. This is the second show that on Disney Plus in the Phase 4 timeline here. It started, I think, 2 weeks after WandaVision finished. Or wrapped up and everything like that. But this show, straight out the gate, you got your action. I think this one was actually meant to come out before WandaVision. I like that they put WandaVision first because, in my opinion, this show is better. It has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. WandaVision had 91%, so very similar in, I guess, critics' eyes as well. But for me, I really like this show. It's kind of the meat and bones of what Marvel is about. But this one has a bit more intrigue. You could tell straight away that they were going for somewhat of that Winter Soldier kind of vibe to it, which is something I guess Black Widow also tried, the movie. But this one I think successfully delivers on that. Where this one, it has some of that intrigue and a lot of like action based stuff. Like even in the first episode alone, when he jumps out of the plane, he's mimicking Steve, or he's mimicking Captain America, and like in that movie also. And there's a lot of things in here, even from the fight that he has with Le Lepar, who's one of the side villains here. But even the fight he has with him is reminiscent of the one Captain America had with him on the boat, and so you kind of have that. So that's the first thing I wanted to establish, is like there's a lot of parallels between the Winter Soldier and this one, which does make a lot of sense because at the very end of the show and everything, they basically have the same title. It's called Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So it's just the exact same title, where throughout it's been called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But yeah, what I do wish they did is put Captain America and the White Wolf. I think that would have been pretty sick. So it's like shown that both Bucky Barnes and actually I'm looking at his name now. It actually says under Anthony Mackie, it says Captain America. So that's pretty cool. But I wish it did transfer both of them to be like the White Wolf and Captain America. But yeah, I mean, obviously Winter Soldier's I think a cooler name than White Wolf, but I think it would have been cool to see that like name transformation. Anyway, with that out of the way, so this one was 6 episodes. I believe they were debating either doing 4 episodes, 9 episodes. They settled on 6. This one has the same budget per episode, or a little more than the WandaVision one had, but around the same budget per episode. And it showed like all these shows, every single show, WandaVision, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki. You can tell the production budget that went into it. You can tell the level of experience these people working on these shows with the crew and everything have in this industry, based on like how the output, the final product is. This I've heard from people that they don't really like this show, so maybe I'm just opposite of like a lot of a lot of people. I loved this. I think this surpasses WandaVision in my opinion, and I honestly think Loki surpasses this one too. But we'll get to those reviews when we get to them. But yeah, so with this one, straight away with the New World Order, you kind of see Sam, I guess, adapting back to life. Like you have to remember, he's been blipped for 5 years now. He's been snapped, and so he's coming back to life. This show takes place 6 months after Iron Man's death, and WandaVision took place 3 weeks after 3 weeks after WandaVision's death. Sorry, WandaVision took place 3 weeks after Iron Man's death. Or Endgame. Same thing. But anyway, so I like where they start. It takes them a couple episodes to really get into it, but I do like that they start establishing like action and everything like that. I really like seeing like how Bucky was doing and like the life he's trying to live and everything like that. And you can see he's racked with guilt. The scenes with the therapist are pretty interesting, but I think that I don't know about that therapist, man. I think that therapist has something else going on. Like not like she's a villain or anything, but just like the way she handled her like patient was very odd. But anyway, that's just my observation. But then you get to episode 3, Power Broker. And this one's really solid. I think this is the one where Zemo comes in also halfway through. And Zemo was an amazing character. I know a lot of people loved Zemo, but I really liked him in Civil War. And if you think about it, Zemo's like one of the pivotal points, like, in all of MCU history, because by him enacting his plan to break up the Avengers and have them turn on one another, the world was left undefended from Thanos, or like they weren't on good terms, so it was harder to like kind of defend from Thanos. And so that's one thing. When you look at Zemo, he's just like some normal dude. Like, yeah, now you know more about his backstory and everything, and he's a Baron and everything like that. But he is somewhat of a normal dude, just kind of a random guy. And he shows like he's an anti-hero here. Like he's out to kill all super soldiers, which I really thought that they would give Sam the super soldier serum. But it is pretty cool that John Walker got it. And it kind of shows like he's obsessed with like doing better. Like he's always been the best, and now he's kind of like competing on this different stage. And yeah, and the thing is, when the Dora Milaje came in, which is the Wakandan like Secret Service, I guess, I don't know, when they came in and like they beat them, like they annihilated them. That's some of the best fighters in the world. Like I really think that anyone would really lose to them. Like they took on a lot of Thanos's people too, so it's like, what are you really gonna do? But he doesn't know that, I guess. So he takes it out on himself and like makes him become stronger and injects him with that serum. Yeah, I think John Walker kind of gets a bad rap. I thought he was a great character throughout. I really enjoyed his arc that he has, and like where he ends up in the end. Like you can see that he just wants to serve his country, you know, and he has been for his whole life. And I think it's a serious indictment on like America as a whole. Like this show in general really shows that a lot of the systemic problems that we have within our society, within our governance, and you have that obviously from Sam's point of view as a black man living in America, and him becoming the face of America, the Captain America, like, and he doesn't feel like he's worthy of that title or that he's the right fit for it, because he doesn't want to divide people or anything like that. He wants to unite people like Steve did, and I think by the end of the show he realizes that he is the perfect fit for it, and he's able to be a uniter. He's able to get along with people, and you even see it throughout the show. Like he's really, honestly, he's on the side of the Flag Smashers, through like ideologically at least. Like he really agrees with them, but he just doesn't agree in the way that they're doing it. And he tells Carly that also. And so I think this was a good show. I will say the ending seemed a bit, it didn't seem rushed per se, but it seemed very quick to wrap up. Like you had like almost 3 or 4 different storylines going on, and then they all quickly wrapped them up. I think if they had wrapped more of them up in the 5th episode, then it would have made a little more. It would have made it so that 6th episode can focus a little more on just the flag smashers and them, versus it had to focus on like the power broker, who, I mean, that was so obvious. I don't know. I don't think that was supposed to be a secret, but it was so obvious that the flag or the power broker was Sharon Carter. But yeah, I don't know if that was meant to be a secret or not, but it wasn't for me. Like I called that from day one. But what I really like, I like John Walker and Battlestar. I thought that was a really cool dynamic, and I was actually like in shock when Battlestar died. Like I didn't think that would happen. Like it was just such a good pairing, and I'm actually really like sad that this guy, the actor Cleve Bennett, won't be in the show anymore. Maybe in the multiverse they can bring him back into the MCU, but he was a phenomenal actor. Like I really enjoyed watching him and his character, and it is just kind of a sad turn, especially with John Walker. Like that's his friend from child, you know, that's his best friend. Like it's really sad to see, but yeah, but the dynamic between Bucky Barnes and Sam is very, very solid. It starts out like that with that somewhat antagonistic feeling, like they're frustrated at each other, because they were both like, well, Bucky's frustrated at Sam because he's like, well, if Steve was wrong in choosing you as the successor, then he was wrong in choosing me as like someone that can be redeemed and everything like that. And you can really see that that's what the struggle is within him, is that he's trying to atone for everything he's done over the past for decades, what he's done for decades, which is killing people in the name of evil. He's trying to atone for that, and it makes it very very at the ending, in the final, not the final scene, but towards the end, when he like tells one of his, like that was obviously his only friend, really, or not his only friend, but one of his only friends, when he tells him like, I'm the one that killed your son, that was crushing. And to see that in the first episode too, they established that so well. And I didn't really know what was going on. I'm like, oh wow, is he like bad in the flashback and everything? And then you understand it towards the end of the episode. And it was like, my friends that I was watching it with were like, yeah, we knew that. But when I was watching, I was like, oh wow, like I did not expect that. Yeah, I do also like how they address Steve Rogers, and they say that he's on some sort of like spaceship. I assume he's on the spaceship with Fury, and which is the sword like satellite spaceship up in the sky where the those green Kree, or they, no, they're not Kree, they're the different ones from Captain Marvel, the good guys, I guess, the shape-shifting ones, but that's their like base, I guess. But yeah, so it sounds like Steve Rogers is up there with them. Honestly, I didn't have an episode that I straight up disliked, which is different from Marvel or from WandaVision. I will say that like the second episode was kind of like it was interesting getting introduced to John Walker and Battlestar, but other than that, I wasn't like big. Like, it was interesting, I guess, because you kind of bring both of the duos together, but other than that, it was kind of an episode, just kind of not filler, but you know what I'm trying to say. The third episode, Power Broker, was interesting. I think it was somewhat pointless, except to introduce Sharon and the Power Broker, I guess, and give you more backstory on Zemo and bring him in. But other than that, I think it was kind of the fourth episode was phenomenal. This one is one of the best that they've produced so far. And what another big difference is that both WandaVision and this show are about 6 hours of content, and then just broken up differently. But WandaVision's had the like 30-minute episodes. The finale was 51 minutes. This one, every single episode is above 50 minutes. The first one is the shortest at 50 minutes, and then the fifth one is the longest at 61 minutes. So you kind of had all of that there. The fifth one I actually really liked too. It was just very wholesome, and to see Sam and Bucky like finally bonding and everything like that. I was surprised though, because like at the end of the fourth, you obviously have John Walker kill that guy, which I'm like, okay, and like he was like this is what he was trained to do. John Walker's whole point and mission was to do these things and apprehend these people that want to take down governments, and this guy's one of the key people in that group. And I understand that he killed him in front of public, but like, are you really gonna strip him of all his titles, all his like stuff that he's worked his whole life for? It's like it was sad to see. It made me empathize with him a lot. Like before that, I was like, seems like a nice guy, I guess, trying to do the right thing, but he's like going the wrong way about it. But after that, I was like, damn, okay, which is maybe the point of it, so maybe it worked for me. But like, I was like, geez, I feel bad for this guy. Like, you can clearly see all he wants to do is just help, and his best friends just died. He's got stripped of everything that his whole purpose in life was. So it's really tragic what happens to him. But he ends up in a place where I think that lady is like gonna make some sort of like Suicide Squad type thing go on. But yeah, anyway, I think the fifth episode, Truth, is also very, very nice, and it kind of, you finally hear Bucky and Sam finally get to sit down and actually talk and explain to each other what their frustrations are. And like, Sam finally gets to tell Bucky like why he doesn't think he deserves to be Captain America, and Bucky tells him like all his insecurities and everything like that. And then they suit up to go and save the day. But yeah, this one was kind of classic Marvel format. I know I'm not talking too much about it. I really liked this show though. Every episode that I watched, it was just a joy to watch, and it was it was cool to see. But yeah, and then the final episode, One World, One People. This one, again, I wasn't, and maybe it's just me, but I wasn't like a massive fan of the finale. I thought the fourth and fifth episodes were better than the sixth episode. I think that those two episodes might have been the best. Like the fourth one I think was the best, then the fifth, and then the sixth, and then we go 3, 1, and 2. So that's kind of my order there. Second episode I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like my favorite, you know. But this sixth one was mid-tier. Like, it was all right. I think it was interesting. I wish they killed off La Leaper, like, and I really like that character. I thought he would honestly always be like a through line through there, because but I guess they kill him off with Sharon, which that was so weird to me. Like, Sharon, who's the power broker, but she gets 2 of the biggest kills. She kills Carly and Leaper. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, she's gonna get the kills with the Glock. She's like doing what Black Widow does, and Black Widow somehow became an Avenger. Like, this lady is just going around shooting people in basements, and I'm like, what is happening here? Like, she legitimately killed off two of the biggest characters in this whole show, or not two of the biggest characters, but two of the biggest antagonists in this whole show. And it was kind of just sucked, you know. But so if I had a complaint, it would be Sharon Carter's role in it as the power broker. But I understand they're trying to set her up for something bigger. I just think that character should have not been in this show. I think they had enough going on that they didn't need the whole power broker thing. I would have preferred the show. I enjoyed it, but it would have been like phenomenal if they had more of a consistent through line of where their story was going. I heard that they were also trying to throw in some like global pandemic vaccination like subplot, and then they cut that because of COVID, obviously. But they were like, that was storyboarded for them and everything. So I'm like, there would have been like 4 or 5 different storylines here to follow, and it was already towards the last episode was already confusing enough. Not confusing, but it was already like there was too much to wrap up in that last episode. And they did a good job of it, but I think it could have gone a lot smoother throughout, and I think it could have been a lot more focused, because when you really look at, when you get to the 5th episode, you still haven't touched on what the power broker is or like can do or anything like that. You just know that there is a power broker that's after Carly. That's all you know. And it's just like, what's even the point of that, man? Like, you have enough conflict between Carly and then the rest of the world, basically, because you have enough conflict between the Flag Smashers and Carly, who she leads them, but her core group is like kind of questioning her. But you have enough like with that, and then you have enough conflict between Sam and Carly and like their dynamics and how both of them are ideologically aligned in a sense, but they have very different ways of going about it. And yeah, it was. I think if they just stuck to the Flag Smasher storyline and got rid of everything else, it would have been better, in my opinion, obviously. But yeah, it was a good show. No serious complaints of it. The production budget was great. Getting to know these characters even more was amazing. I honestly think that they should stick to some of these just, you know, little like miniseries that they're doing. I don't think there should be a second season of this. I really don't want a second season of WandaVision, if I'm being honest. Loki, well, I'll talk about Loki in the Loki reviews, but yeah, this was perfect as a miniseries, and I hope it stays that way. But these shows just keep leveling up, in my opinion. So I can't wait to see what they do next. And I guess What If is out now too when I'm recording this, so I'll check that out and put some recordings up on there if it's any good. I didn't really plan on watching it, but I'll go ahead and give it a shot just because of how good these 3 shows have been so far. But yeah, have a good one.